Hello MBA aspirants, in this clip we'll talk about 5 tips for preparing marketing as an MBA specialization. Tip number 1, understand the challenge. Marketing is the most widely quoted area of specialization in an MBA interview. I have heard over the years just about everyone coming in and telling me that I want to specialize in marketing, and when we ask them the reason why is it so, they probably say that this is the most evergreen function of management. So I think this is where you also need to add some kind of a striking dimension to your reason for marketing, because if everybody is opting for it, then how are you different from others? This is what you have to convince the panel. The need to create a differentiator is therefore very strong. What is your reason for marketing? It's not about marketing being an evergreen field. That's a very generic quote. So you have to be more specific as to why you are suited for marketing. Why is it your preferred area? General myth about marketing being synonymous with selling needs to be dispelled. People somehow confuse marketing and selling. There is a huge difference between the two, which we'll explore in the subsequent slides. So this difference has to be understood. Apparently, it offers the path of least resistance when it comes to defending functional preference. But one needs to understand the covert challenge. So as I said a while back, people think it's an evergreen field. It's very easy to defend questions on marketing, but something even as basic as marketing and selling, the difference there can put you in a situation. So one needs to understand all these dimensions of the marketing function. Tip number 2, marketing management. Let's try to understand what is marketing management. We'll try to look at an operational definition of marketing. Marketing is the process of understanding the needs of target customers and delivering the desired satisfactions more effectively and efficiently than competitors. So, being able to identify certain keywords here. The first one is needs. The entire marketing challenge is based around the needs of the target customers. You need to understand who is your target customer, what is it that someone wants, and your entire marketing proposition is planned around that. Let's take a look at what happened with the brand Maggi. Maggi, when it was launched in the early 80s, somewhere in 83, Nestle was able to understand that the Indian woman needs to cook something faster, because she is working with the man now. She is crossing the threshold of the house and contributing to the salaries. So, but the expectation which the male counterpart has is pretty much the same. He still expects her to run the house, to manage the house. So, given this background, the woman was left with limited time to cook for the family. So Maggi positioned itself in that particular space, and the line which it came out with was fast to cook, good to eat. Now this kind of a value proposition was very important for Maggi, because it kind of showed that the brand has been able to communicate with the customer. It has understood the needs of the target customers. Satisfactions. It has to offer something which satisfies that particular need. So when Maggi offered that 2-minute proposition, it very well satisfied the need which the target customer, the woman, had. She had less time on her, so this product was able to give her something which was quick and fast to cook. And of course, you are not operating in isolation. You are operating in a market where there is competition and there are other players as well. So you need to outsmart those players when you offer this value proposition. So Maggi was ahead of its times. It offered something which took a while for the competitors to kind of emulate and offer something similar. So competition has to be understood. Another example here would be if you go back in in the early 90s, we had this Amul ice cream being launched by Amul, by Gujarat Milk Marketing Federation. So Amul, when it was launched, the line which they used, the positioning line was real milk, real ice cream. Now this was where they kind of disturbed the single largest competitor in the Indian market, and that was Quality Walls from Hindustan Levers Limited, HLL at that point of time, and now HUL. So this kind of shook the competition, because Amul was very clear in its statement that this is real milk, real ice cream, and that got people thinking that what is Quality Walls therefore offering? How is that ice cream made? And then there was a lot of discussion in public domains and media, and there were kind of all sorts of statements which kind of led to believe people that Quality Walls is not using milk. It's not an ice cream as per the definition of an ice cream. It is a frozen dessert. So this gave Amul a huge advantage over its competitors, and till now Amul ice cream is the market leader in India. So the competitor is very important when you offer a particular marketing proposition. Tip number 3, marketing mix. The marketing mix would consist of the following: product, the goods and services in combination that the company offers to the target market. This is of course the core offering which you have to make to the market, something which is tangible in case of a good, and which is intangible in case of a service. So whatever is it is designed to satisfy the need of the target customer. Price, the amount of money customers have to pay to obtain the product. Now, pricing is a big strategy for organizations. They can play around it. We have seen cases where companies, they enter the market by lowering the price. Now this is called price penetration. So you lower the price and you kind of enter the market. This is what Amul ice cream did when it entered the Indian market in 1996, and it was offered at a 30% lesser price as compared to Quality Walls. And so the value for money kind of got really up for the customer. The customer perceived more value in less money. So this kind of a pricing strategy really worked for Amul ice cream. Similarly, we can have premium pricing where you pitch up the price and you kind of tell the customer that price is synonymous with quality. Since you're offering a superior value, so you have to charge more money. So this is another strategy. And then of course we have all seen what Walmart has been doing. It follows a unique model called EDLP, everyday low prices. Now the entire concept of Walmart retail strategy is based around this particular pricing strategy. Promotion, the company activities that make the product available to target customers. So once you have the product in place, the pricing has been decided, now you have to make sure that you attract people, that you promote your good and service and reach out to the target market. So promotion would involve all these activities like sales promotion, like advertising, like direct selling, like public relations, publicity. All this is a part of the promotional mix. Place, the activities that communicate the merits of the product and persuade target customers to buy it. Now this is where distribution happens. We're talking about distribution channels, and there are different distribution channels for consumer durables and FMCG goods. Now FMCG is fast moving consumer goods, and consumer durables, as we all understand, would be goods like refrigerators, washing machines, where the durability is higher. So these goods, these two categories of goods would have their own distribution channels and own strategies to reach out to the consumer, and this is where we talk about wholesale, retail, and so many other concepts. Tip number 4, the STP syndrome in marketing. S here stands for segmentation, the process of slicing a heterogeneous market into homogeneous subunits. Now this is where you split the market into discrete segments such that every segment has its own unique characteristics. Now this kind of a segmentation is important because you cannot offer your marketing worth to all the segments. If you're doing that, that will constitute something known as mass marketing. But largely we have seen companies offering segmented marketing. You segment the market, you break it up into homogeneous layers, and then you decide which a particular layer you have to target. And this leads us to the next challenge, which is T for targeting, the process of focusing marketing efforts on a particular segment. This is where you identify your particular segment and then you decide to focus your marketing efforts on this particular segment. Let's take an example. We had this company called Anchor, which makes electrical appliances. And Anchor, it used to be a group based out of Mumbai. And these people, they got very ambitious in the 90s and they diversified into the toothpaste market as well, from electrical appliances to toothpastes. That's a huge diversification. But when they did that, they researched the market really well and they were able to identify an entry point there. The market was already very cluttered. There was the strong monopoly of Colgate, then there was Levers with its brands like Pepsodent with a strong market share. So how do you create space for a new product in this kind of a market? So these people, the Anchor people, they entered the market with a unique strategy, and they focused on a target or a segment which was conscious about using vegetarian products. And this is where we'll talk about the next challenge in STP, and that is positioning. The process of placing your product in the minds of target customers through a unique customer value proposition, CVP. Now, what Anchor offered to the market was 100% vegetarian toothpaste. The minute Anchor said this, it kind of raised an alarm, and people who were pure veg, they started thinking as to how the toothpaste is made. And this is no rocket science. We all know that there is animal bones are involved in making toothpastes. Now, this is where Anchor was able to create its space in the market. It focused exclusively on the vegetarian market, and that is a huge market in India. And they entered the market with this statement. They created ripples in the market. In the next 4-5 years, they were able to garner 7 to 8% of the market share. Talking about a very fiercely competitive market. They were able to do that because the positioning was very clear, because they were able to segment the market well, they were able to focus on the right target, on the right segment, and they were able to position their brand really well. Tip number 5, this is about certain key marketing areas which you need to understand as an MBA aspirant willing to pursue marketing as a specialization. Brand management deals with all the challenges of managing the brand throughout its life cycle: introduction, growth, maturity, decline. Every phase will call for its own unique set of strategies. When you introduce a brand, things are different. When the brand reaches a certain level of maturity, you still have to shake up the market and do something so as to excite the customer and keep the customer excited. So the strategies would differ there. And then once the brand is dying out, then you need to decide what should be done. Should you actually part ways? Should you let it be? Or should you turn it around and put more money? For example, we have seen some iconic brands in the automobile segment like the Maruti 800, like the Hyundai Santro being phased out gradually because the company feels that they need to make it more contemporary and add more brands in the market. Services marketing. Now, services is even a more challenging domain in marketing as compared to goods. The reason is that services are not tangible. The reason is that services are intangible, and therefore you need to do something in that intangible space. You need to add certain tangibles to it. For example, let's take up the case of a salon. In a salon, when you go for a haircut, it is not just the man who delivers the haircut. It is about the entire ambience which defines the place. It's about the way you are treated. It's about the way you are made to sit and wait. The way you are channelized onto the next level, right? It's about the whole aura in that place which defines how much money you should charge from the customer, and this can go up to like a lot more money there. So this kind of a differentiator is what we have to constantly add in services, and therefore services marketing is a huge field, a separate career in marketing management. Market research, this is that part of marketing which deals with researching the market, understanding the market, understanding the different players in the market, understanding the market shares of these different players, understanding what these players are offering, understanding the needs of the customers, understanding the threats to the industry. All this is a part of market research, and market research can be really technical. You have the application of statistics in this particular field. Once you get data, then you need to analyze it using certain statistical tools, and you arrive at certain discrete conclusions. So this is a domain where you need to have an eye for detail. You need to have good statistical understanding of different tools there also. So market research is a big domain in marketing management. Consumer behavior is that part of marketing which deals with the consumer through and through. The consumer's behavior, why did the consumer behave in this particular fashion? And there are certain basic stimuli which disturb the consumer. For example, if you change the packaging of a product, the consumer has a problem. And we had this in case of Tropicana. A couple of years back in the US, Tropicana, which is a brand owned by Pepsi, when they changed the packaging of the brand, the look of the brand, the sales dropped exponentially. People had a problem there. Now this is consumer behavior. So how would the consumer respond to the changes which you make in the marketing proposition? And not just that, it even deals with the post-purchase behavior. So once you have bought a product, then how has the product treated you? Would you go back and buy the same product again over a couple of years, or would you be dissatisfied? So the entire behavior of the consumer, it affects the marketing proposition. International marketing. Now finally, this is one part of marketing which deals with global marketing challenges. We're talking about a flatter world. We're talking about a place where economies have linked organically, and the world has become like a village. Now in this kind of a scenario, international marketing assumes a lot of importance because you are operating in different markets. Now there are multinationals which are operating in several markets, and in these several markets, the cultural differences, the geographic differences, the social differences, they all affect your marketing proposition. So how would you customize to the local fabric of the country is a very, very important decision which the company has to take. For example, if you look at McDonald's, when McDonald's entered India in the early 90s, they never offered pork in their menu because they know that the Indian customer is very sensitive to this particular stimulus. So pork wasn't offered there in their menu, whereas pork was being offered in other markets globally. So this kind of customization is very important in international marketing. And the first call which you have to take is whether you need to customize or should you offer a standard offering world over. So all these decisions are a part of your international marketing, and there is much more to these things, but we hope that this particular clip has been able to introduce you to the marketing function of management. People normally opt for this function because it's an evergreen function, but before you say this to the panel, you need to be really clear as to why you are going in for marketing and what all is there in marketing. As a layman, your understanding of marketing is important. You have to appreciate these various terms. We hope that this clip helps you. Best wishes.